I quit my job to move into Ethan's family's house in Ohio after his dad, Walter, passed. We agreed to take care of his mom, Helen, since she was getting older, sick more often, and definitely couldn't live alone anymore. Ethan said, "It'll be fine if Veronica's still there." But let me tell you, Veronica was a damn joke. She's almost 50, never had a job, still lives in that house like a queen on a trash throne. And from the moment we walked in with our boxes, she made it crystal clear we weren't welcome. Didn't say hi, didn't offer a hand. Just sat there, sighed loud enough for Ethan to hear, and went right back to scrolling on her phone like we were roaches. Helen at least apologized. "Sorry, honey," she whispered. But I knew it wasn't her fault. It was Veronica. Always Veronica. Every day was a test of patience. I cooked, cleaned, took Helen to doctor's appointments, wiped up messes at 2 a.m. You think Veronica helped? Hell no. She wouldn't even microwave her own meatloaf. She'd just shout from the living room, "Nina, I'm not in the mood for that tonight, make me a cheeseburger. Big one. Half-pound patty. Are you kidding me?" But I kept quiet. For months, I swallowed it. I thought maybe if I showed her some kindness, she'd come around. Maybe there was something broken inside her. Maybe she needed help. Nope. She needed a damn eviction notice. The day I snapped, she called me on the phone while I was staying with my parents in Oregon to take a break Ethan had. Begged me to go, said he'd take care of Helen for a bit. Veronica didn't know I was gone. She thought Ethan and I split. She laughed. "So, the ugly one finally left, huh? I couldn't stand living in the same house with you. It's better now." That was it. That's when I realized she didn't just hate me, she enjoyed watching me suffer. She lived for it, and I'd been letting it happen. Not anymore. I told Ethan everything. Played him the voicemail. His face went pale. He'd seen her crap before, but never this clear, this vicious. And finally, he stood with me. We cut ties. Told Helen she could move with us to Colorado, or into an assisted living facility in Florida where we're peaceful, safe. She chose Florida. She was tired too. We moved. New house, new life. Veronica, I heard she's stuck in a rundown apartment in New Jersey now, trying to hold a part-time job. First time working in her life. Good luck with that. No more playing nice. No more swallowing pain to keep the peace. That chapter's closed, and I'm finally breathing again. I tried to avoid her, really did. I kept my head down, stayed polite, didn't ask for anything. But Veronica, she came for me anyway. At first it was little crap. "Hey, can you run to the store? I need something." Like I was her personal assistant. Then she started throwing digs. "Don't get cocky just because you married Ethan." She had this smug look every time she said something nasty, like it gave her life. I thought, fine, maybe she just hates me. Whatever, I'll stay out of her way. But nope, she wanted a fight. She needed someone to dump on. And I was stuck there, taking care of Helen, doing all the cooking, the cleaning, making sure Helen took her meds on time. And Veronica, she just sat on her ass watching reality TV all day like she was a damn queen. One night, I made meatloaf. Nothing fancy. Just something I could throw in the oven after taking Helen to her appointment and picking up her prescriptions. We sit down, and here comes Veronica. Doesn't say hi. Just plops down and goes, "Ugh, not in the mood for meatloaf. Make me a cheeseburger. 1 half-pound patty." Dead serious. Like I'm a short-order cook. I said, "If you don't want it, don't eat. I'm busy. I'm not making you a cheeseburger." She scoffs. "I didn't ask for meatloaf. I said I wanted a cheeseburger. What kind of failure of a wife can't even make that? Ethan really downgraded when he married you." I snapped. I told her flat out, "Then make it your damn self." She stood up, yelling, "You don't belong here. I never agreed to you being in this house. You stole my brother." Ethan tried to step in. "Let's calm down," he said. Like that ever works with Veronica. She kept going. Called me every name she could think of. Said I was trash. Said I'd ruined her life just by existing. Like she didn't ruin her own life sitting on the couch for 20 years, waiting for someone to hand it to her. I stood there shaking, angry, humiliated, and done. So done. Later that night I told Ethan if he didn't draw a line, I was out. Back to Oregon. He looked wrecked. But I told him the truth. This isn't caregiving. This is a hostage situation, and I'm not going down with your family. That fight, it cracked something open. He finally saw it, saw her, and saw what it was doing to me. That was the start of the end, and the beginning of getting my life back. I used to think maybe there was something deeper going on with Veronica. Some trauma, some reason she never worked, never contributed, just mooched off everyone. I even told myself, maybe she's depressed. Maybe she just needs patience. No, she's just lazy. That's it. Pure, entitled laziness. She sat on that damn couch all day like it was her throne, barking orders, playing the victim, twisting every situation so she could stay the center of it all. I was handling Helen's meds, groceries, cooking, laundry meanwhile. Veronica couldn't be bothered to pour herself a glass of water. And the worst part? Ethan was giving her an allowance, out of his paycheck, $1 to $100 a month. For what? For breathing? I told him to stop. He agreed for a week. Then came, I just worry about her. And just like that, we were back to feeding the parasite. She loved rubbing it in. Ethan gives me money because he appreciates me. Unlike you, you're just a useless wife. Every sentence out of her mouth was poison. And when I didn't jump to cater to her, she pulled that same card. I'm his sister. You should respect me. Like her last name gave her a crown. Respect isn't handed out because you share DNA. You earn it. She expected me to bow to her, hand her money, clean up her crap, and thank her for letting me breathe the same air. And when I didn't, she doubled down, threw fits, slammed doors, told Ethan I was turning him against his family. I wasn't. I was just finally standing up for myself. One day, I came back from grocery shopping carrying 3 bags. My back killing me, and I find her sitting at the kitchen table with this smug look. You were gone long enough. Took a little detour to get away from us, she said, sipping her soda like she was queen of the house. I said nothing, just walked past her and started unloading. Then she muttered, "Don't forget who you're living with. This is my house too. You don't run anything." That's when I lost it. No, Veronica, you don't run anything either. You don't cook. You don't clean. You don't take care of your mother. You just exist, like a damn couch fungus. She screamed, threw a spoon at the floor, said I was disrespectful, that she deserved better treatment. I told Ethan that night either she goes, or I do. I wasn't gonna keep living like some servant to a grown adult with no job and zero shame. I was done trying to keep peace with someone who didn't even want peace, she wanted power. And I'm not here to play court jester in her sick little kingdom. That was the moment I stopped being quiet. I came back from grocery shopping, tired as hell, only to find my Boston bag sitting out on the damn front porch. Dirt all over it, zipper half open. I thought someone tried to rob the place at first, but no. I opened it, and guess what? My stuff was inside. My clothes, my toiletries, my damn hairbrush, all shoved in there like trash. I knew right away. Veronica. Who else? I walked in, heart pounding, trying not to scream. "Hey Veronica," I said, loud and clear. "Why the hell is my bag outside?" She walks out like nothing happened, sipping her soda, fake blinking. "Why are you yelling?" she says, like I'm the crazy one. I held up the dirty bag. "You packed my stuff and left it outside." "Oh that," she shrugs. "It's trash day. I thought the collection guys could take it." My jaw dropped. "This isn't garbage. These are my things. Things I use every day." She smirked. "Well, you're kind of like bulky trash, Nina. Always in the way. Crawling around this house like you own it. Manipulating Ethan. Making things harder for everyone." I froze. For a second, I really thought she's not just toxic. She's unhinged. Who does that? Who bags someone's life and dumps it at the curb like a broken lamp? I couldn't even speak. That's how shocked I was. And she laughed. Actually laughed. Said, "Don't act like a victim. I'm the one who lost my brother to a bitch like you. That did it." I looked her straight in the eye and said, "You didn't lose your brother. You pushed him away. You're not a victim. You're a bully who's been coddled too long." She screamed at me, said I stole him, that if she had known how awful I was, she never would have approved the marriage, like she had any damn say in it to begin with. This wasn't just about the bag. It was years of her crafter entitlement, her insults, The allowance she mooched off Ethan while calling me worthless. She thought being his sister meant she could treat me like a maid and a threat in the same breath. I went to Ethan that night, told him everything. The bag, the insults, her calling me trash. I didn't sugarcoat it. And I told him one thing, plain and simple. If you expect me to keep living under the same roof as someone who throws my life out with the garbage, you're asking the wrong woman. And for the first time, he didn't hesitate. We were done taking it. She crossed the line, and I wasn't gonna let her throw out one more piece of my dignity. Not ever again. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "Just living with you makes me sick. I can't stand seeing your face anymore. Living with trash like you? No thanks." Then she stormed off to her room like she was the victim, like I'd done something unforgivable by existing. That was the last straw. I just stood there, completely stunned. I wanted to scream. I wanted to throw something. But instead, I just sat down and stared at the wall for 10 minutes, trying not to cry. What the hell do you even say to someone like that? That night, I told Ethan everything, word for word. He went quiet, really quiet. He didn't even try to defend her this time. Just sat there rubbing his forehead like he'd finally realized how deep in it we were. He said, "Maybe it's time we moved out." And yeah, sure, that would have solved one problem. But Helen, she was the real complication. That house in Ohio was her whole world. She'd never agree to leave it. I knew it. Ethan knew it. And honestly, I couldn't blame her. She's old. She's tired. It's the only place she's ever felt safe since Walter died. But staying meant seeing Veronica every day. And at this point, it didn't matter if we passed each other in silence or full-blown screaming. It always turned into a fight. It was like walking around with a lit match in a room full of gas. And Helen, sweet as she tries to be, she'd step in and say, "Girls, please stop fighting." Like we were two kids bickering over a toy. She never really took a side. She just wanted the noise to stop, which, fine, I get. But it didn't help. I hated dragging her into it. Hated that she and Ethan had to see us at each other's throats all the time. And the guilt of that, it started eating me alive. I knew something had to change. But what? Where was I supposed to go? Veronica made me feel like a damn squatter in my own home. My body tensed. It got to the point where I'd flinch when I heard her door creak open. I couldn't sleep, couldn't breathe, and worst of all, I couldn't find a single solution that wouldn't hurt someone I actually cared about. Then Ethan said, "Why don't you go stay with your parents for a while, just to cool off?" And for once, it didn't sound like running away. It sounded like survival. So I packed a bag, said goodbye to Helen, didn't even look at Veronica. I didn't owe her that, and I left. I didn't know how long I'd be gone. I just knew I had to get out before I lost the last bit of myself. Ethan told me to take a break, just go stay with my parents in Oregon for a while. Said he could take a few days off work and help with Helen. Said maybe the distance would help cool things off between me and Veronica. I knew he meant well. He always does. But deep down, I think he thought I was overreacting. That maybe I was too tense, too emotional. He didn't really get it, not yet. So I packed a bag and left. I checked in with him here and there. He kept saying everything was fine, but I could hear the strain in his voice. Every call, he sounded more tired, more drained, less sure of what fine even meant. After about a week, I finally asked him, "Is Helen doing okay? Is she too much to manage?" He said, "No, it's not Helen." Turns out, the second I left, Veronica turned all that energy, the complaining, the demanding, the constant need for attention straight onto Ethan. She started asking him to run errands, make food, buy things, and when he didn't give in, she snapped, full tantrum, screaming, throwing things, breaking stuff around the house. $1,500 worth of damage, at least. Furniture, plants, a picture frame Helen's had since the 70s. Gone. That was the moment Ethan finally got it. "I had no idea what you were dealing with," he said. And he meant it. He was crying on the phone. Actually crying. "I should have supported you more. I'm so sorry." Hearing that, I didn't know whether to be relieved or furious. All this time, I'd been drowning, trying to carry the weight of that house, take care of Helen, tiptoe around Veronica, and still be a good wife. And now, after 3 days in my shoes, Ethan was broken. I picked up the phone and called Veronica. I didn't yell, didn't curse, just told her, you need to stop dumping everything on Ethan. You want respect, earn it. You want space, grow up and take care of yourself. I'm done playing babysitter. She laughed, said I was being dramatic, said I couldn't take the heat. I hung up. That was the last time I gave her the courtesy of a conversation. Ethan and I talked again that night. I told him straight I wasn't going back unless something changed. Real change, not another temporary truce. He agreed, said it was time to stop enabling her, that we couldn't sacrifice our marriage to coddle someone who'd never grow up. And for once, I believed him. I didn't feel guilty. Not anymore. I was tired of surviving. I was ready to live. I called Veronica to tell her to stop bothering Ethan. That was it. Simple. I thought maybe she'd finally listen now that he was falling apart from all the crap she'd been pulling since I left. But of course, she answers the phone like I'm the one causing problems. Her voice, dripping with attitude. She didn't even ask why I called, just sighed like I was wasting her time. And then she says, "So, you moved out, right? I heard you're gone. Good. I couldn't stand living in the same house as some ugly bitch like you." I swear to God, my chest went cold. Turns out, she thought Ethan and I had separated. She didn't know I was staying at my parents' place in Oregon. She thought she'd finally driven me out for good. That smug tone, that laugh, she was happy. She wanted me gone, out of the picture, dead to the family, and she thought she'd won. That moment, that voice, that glee, it snapped something in me. I'd spent so long trying to keep the peace, trying to stay civil, trying not to be the one who caused a scene. Screw that. I told her, yeah, I'm gone. And guess what? I'm never coming back. You won't have to see my face again. So congratulations. She actually laughed and said, finally. Took you long enough. Then hung up like she'd scored the final point in some game I never agreed to play. I called Ethan immediately. Told him to come to Oregon. Now, he didn't ask questions, just got in the car and drove. When he got there, I played the recording. Because yes, I recorded that call. Something told me I'd need to. He sat there, listening in silence. And when it ended, his face was pale, sick. He looked like someone who'd just watched a loved one get hit by a truck. And maybe, in a way, he had. Because he finally heard it. Heard how cruel his sister really was. He said, "I'm so sorry." And I knew he meant it. But I told him, this isn't about sorry anymore. I need you to cut them off. And he agreed. Right there, without hesitation. No more Veronica. No more allowances. No more pretending things were fixable. He'd talk to Helen, figure something out for her, maybe an assisted living facility in Florida. But the line was drawn. That day, we finally took our lives back. That phone call, that laugh, it lit the fire. I'm done being the polite one. I'm done tiptoeing around someone who lives to see other people break. You want me gone, Veronica? You got it. But this time, I slammed the damn door behind me. A few days after the whole thing blew up, Ethan and Helen came all the way out to Nina's parents' home in Oregon. They got on their knees, literally, in our living room, apologizing to me and my parents like it was the final scene in a courtroom drama. Helen was crying. Ethan could barely look at me. They said they regretted everything, not stepping in sooner, letting Veronica torment me for years, letting it get this far. I didn't need the theatrics, but the sincerity, that part hit me. Then they said it, they were cutting ties. Ethan told me he was ready to sever everything with the in-laws' house in Ohio, all of it, if that meant protecting me. Helen even said she wouldn't stand in the way. I couldn't believe it. That moment was the first time I felt like I could breathe in years. So Ethan moved in with me and my parents. Peace, finally. At least that's what I thought. Then the phone rang. Veronica. I let it go to voicemail at first. Then she called again and again. So I picked up, and she was in full panic mode. You have to come back. It's Mom. She's in bad shape. Please, just come home now. That was all she kept saying. No details, no explanation. I asked what happened. All she did was cry and repeat herself. It's bad. Just come. You have to come. It didn't sit right. I told her Ethan would call Helen directly. I wasn't jumping on a plane based on Veronica's dramatics. I hung up and waited for Ethan to get home from the regional office in Denver. When I told him, he was immediately worried and called Helen. She answered on the second ring, cheerful, totally fine. She said she was having tea and reading. No medical emergency, no hospital visit, nothing. Ethan pressed her, asking if she felt sick or if anything had happened. She said no, she was doing surprisingly well lately. So what the hell was Veronica talking about? Then it hit us. Helen had probably started pulling away from her. Maybe she was getting fed up with Veronica's laziness. Maybe she missed the care and normalcy I used to provide. Whatever it was, Veronica freaked. And instead of owning up to it, she tried to emotionally blackmail us back into the mess. I was furious. She used Helen as bait. She lied. Again. Manipulated. Like always. That call was the final nail. We blocked her number. Ethan told Helen we'd still support her. Even consider helping her move to an assisted living facility in Florida if she wanted. But we weren't stepping back into that house or that chaos. Veronica showed her hand one last time. And this time, we didn't fold. So apparently Helen was thinking about moving into an assisted living facility in Florida. She'd been talking to Ethan about it for a while, and from what I heard, Walter's estate inheritance left her with enough to afford a good place about $4,000 a month. She'd be taken care of, safe, comfortable. It honestly sounded like the best decision she could make. Except when she brought it up to Veronica, all hell broke loose. That's when I got the call. Veronica didn't even try to be subtle. She was screaming into the phone, accusing me of trying to get rid of Helen, saying I was manipulating the whole thing just to snatch her family away. I hung up. I knew exactly what this was about. Not love, not concern, money. Ethan had still been sending a family support payment each month, partly for Helen, partly because he still felt bad about how Veronica had turned out. But if Helen moved into a facility, and Ethan wasn't paying for groceries or electricity at the in-laws' house in Ohio anymore, well, guess who would lose that cash flow? Of course Veronica flipped. She doesn't have a job. She's been freeloading off her mom, off Ethan, off anyone who lets her for years. Helen moving out would mean she'd be on her own. No more free ride. No more allowance from Ethan's salary. She panicked. She begged Helen not to go. Tried guilt, tears, tantrums. None of it worked. Helen moved out anyway last week. I thought that would be it. I thought we'd finally be done with the drama. But then the doorbell rang this morning, slamming, loud, non-stop. My parents weren't home. Ethan was out. I was alone. I checked the camera by the front door. Veronica. She was standing on our porch in broad daylight, yelling like a maniac. Get your thieving ass out here. You think you can steal my brother and my mother and get away with it? Come out here, you bitch. Apologize on your knees. She was pounding on the door with both fists. I didn't open it. Just stood frozen behind the door, hands shaking, but also furious. How dare she? She never cared about Helen. Not really. She just wanted control, comfort, money. And now that it's gone, she's acting like I burned down her house. Ethan came back an hour later. I played the video for him. He watched it in silence. Didn't say a word. Then he pulled out his phone, and I heard him say it. Veronica, if you ever show up at our door again, I will file for a restraining order. It was over. Finally. It happened on a Tuesday. I remember because Ethan had left for the regional office in Denver that morning, and I was alone at the in-laws' house in Ohio. Helen had gone to the store with Walter. I thought I'd finally get a quiet hour. Then came Veronica. She pulled up like a damn tornado, slammed her car door so loud it shook the porch. Next thing I know, she's screaming from the driveway. Nina, come out here. You think you can run this place now? I froze. My heart wasn't racing, it just stopped. I knew if I stepped out, it'd get physical. She's done it before. Broken things, thrown plates. I backed away from the window. Then she started hacking at Helen's flower pots, the geraniums, the marigolds, just slicing and smashing them. She had pruning shears in one hand and pure rage in the other. And then she started pounding on the door. Boom, boom. Come out. I texted Ethan. She's here. She's going crazy. He replied instantly, I'm coming home. but he was hours away. I couldn't breathe. I didn't know whether to cry or call the cops or just curl up in the laundry room. Then, out of nowhere, I hear this voice from the intercom. Calm but firm. "Ma'am, what are you doing?" It was a cop. I peeked through the side window and saw him standing there, hand on his belt. Veronica tried to talk her way out of it too late. He cuffed her right on the porch and shoved her into the cruiser like she weighed nothing. That's when I exhaled. Like, really exhaled. I stepped outside, legs shaking, and told the officer everything. Everything I'd been holding in for months. That was the last day I ever stayed in that house. Ethan and I moved to our new suburban house in Colorado 2 weeks later. Packed what we needed and left the rest behind. He stood by me, no questions asked. Helen found out what happened and, for once, didn't sugarcoat anything. She cut Veronica off. Completely. Said she'd had enough. Even listed the house and sold it. I told her it wasn't necessary, but she said it was about drawing a line. She also filed for civil damages for the plants. Over $1,500 in total. Veronica didn't even apologize. She just played the victim like always. But nobody was buying it anymore. Not even Helen. Looking back, I regret not leaving sooner. I kept thinking if I tried harder, cooked more, stayed quieter, things would change. But people like Veronica don't change. They push and push until you break or push back. Nah, I sleep. I cook meatloaf in peace. I go days without yelling or crying. And I finally have a front porch with flowers that stay in their pots. No more excuses. No more Veronica. Sometimes I look around our suburban house in Colorado and I just breathe. The silence here doesn't make me anxious anymore. It makes me feel safe. Honestly, I didn't think we'd make it out. Not with Veronica constantly hovering, judging, talking down to me like I was some outsider invading her family. But Ethan stood by me. So did Helen, surprisingly. They helped me get away from that toxic circus. And yeah, I'm grateful. I've told them that. But sometimes I feel like they'll never really understand the damage Veronica caused. After everything blew up, I stopped keeping tabs on her. I didn't care. But word got around. She's in some rundown apartment in New Jersey now, working a part-time gig she can barely hold on to. First job in her life, and she's tanking. Gets yelled at all the time. Can't keep up. Of course not. She never had to work for anything. Everything was handed to her on a silver platter, and when it wasn't, she threw a tantrum. Training her must be a nightmare. She's slow. She doesn't listen. She thinks she's too good for it all. But guess what? Life doesn't care. Life finally slapped her in the face. And part of me may be a big part thinks she deserves every bit of it. But I'm not sitting around stewing in hate. I'm just done. Done with her. Done with the mess she dragged into our lives. Ethan and I are good now. He got transferred to the regional office in Denver, and he's been working harder than ever. I see the stress on his face sometimes, but he never complains. I make sure he comes home to a clean house, hot food, and someone who actually gives a damn about him. Real meals, not microwave cheeseburgers, but meatloaf and sides and dessert if I'm not too tired. I take pride in it. It's the first time in years I've actually wanted to cook. Back in Ohio, there were days I couldn't even bring myself to get out of bed, let alone prep dinner with Helen pacing behind me or Veronica barging in with her snide remarks. Nah, I laugh more. I sleep better. Ethan thanks me all the time. Thanks for everything, babe. But he has no idea. The real thanks is mine. When Veronica went off the rails, he didn't hesitate. He shut it down, took my side. No drama, no guilt trips. Just stood by me like a damn rock. That's what matters. Not the house, not the distance from Ohio, not even the quiet. What matters is, I got my life back, and I'll do whatever it takes to keep it that way.